Hello, welcome into the ESPN FC studios. I'm Dan Thomas, joined by Ali Moreno and Nedum. The full-time whistle has just gone in the tie between Norway and Iraq, and it's a good start for the Norwegian side, winning by 4-1 to put themselves at the top of the table. Erling Haaland with a brace in this tie. Iraq would get the equaliser, pushing Norway to find that extra gear in the second half, and they did. Oscar with a great header coming on as a substitute. Not before, though. Haaland got that second goal just before the break. Norway thoroughly deserving of this victory, Ali.
Yeah, it felt like if Iraq were going to have any sort of opportunity against Norway today, they were going to have to be very clean and avoid serious mistakes. They were neither clean nor did they avoid serious mistakes. Goalkeeper, of course, catastrophic in the second goal by Erling Haaland. Give Erling Haaland, I suppose, some credit in pressing the goalkeeper. But regardless, you make those sort of mistakes. And then on top of that, you give up a set-piece goal. It's a combination for disaster if you're Iraq. As it pertains to Norway, this is the sort of start that you would have hoped for and you would have expected from Norway. A lot of people are very high on Norway. They needed to get off to a good start. And Erling Haaland needed to get off to a good start. They've done both. Really good for Norway, and now they set up the rest of the group.
Let's welcome in former Norwegian international Jan Age Fjortoft is with us. Lovely job, Lee.
Whoops, he did it again. A great start for us in terms of result, 4-1. This is going to be a very close group. Senegal, we saw today, the first half against France, they will be good. But at the table is -2 for Senegal and +3 for Norway. Mm-hmm. But if we see the whole game, I'm a bit worried. I'm very, very happy that we got up to a good start. 4 goals in a World Cup. Erling with 2 goals. I guess as we speak, we'll get the match ball because I think the last goal was his as well. But we'll see what FIFA will do with that one. But I'm a bit worried about the mistakes we did at the back because Iraq, when they scored their goals to 1-1, we had 3 players just looking at one Hussein scoring that goal. And yes, it's great that we're branding ourselves as Viking and we are well known for our attacks. But we have to defend as well, because if we play Senegal, if we play France and Mbappe, they will score goals on those mistakes that we did today.
Erling Haaland was always going to be a big talking point going into the tournament, and he's made sure that continues after this.
Yeah, absolutely. What an afternoon we're having here, where Mbappe scores 2 and then Erling Haaland backs up and he scores 2 as well. And I think what I liked was that he very much started the game on the front foot. He's obviously one of the goals is a bit chaotic, but I like the fact that he was on the front foot trying to stop the goalkeeper from having comfort in terms of the back pass itself. But for him to be scoring those goals and the movement he did for the first one, the cross from Wolfer, really, really good. And seeing Haaland in that area, the sort of poacher that he is, it's a brilliant start for him, and that would have meant so much to him, so much to all the fans of Norway as well who've come down, who haven't really seen their team play at these tournaments very often. So for as good as they are, they're not taking these moments for granted. So, yeah, as Jan Age said, to score 4 goals in the opening game is a great start.
And that first goal, I think, is something that perhaps is underreported about Erling Haaland and all the things that he does very well. It's the hunger to try to get in the end of service. He can anticipate that the ball is going to come from the left-hand side, but there is something to be said about the desire to get the final touch on it, to fight through defenders to get to on the end of it and put it into the back of the net. And in order to be a great goal scorer, which he is, not only do you have to have physical attributes, not only do you have to have natural talent, but there has to be a certain drive and a certain desire. And we saw that in the first goal, and it was followed up by the pressure on the goalkeeper. Again, we're not going to give Haaland a whole lot of credit because a goalkeeper has a shocking moment, a catastrophic moment, but the credit that he does deserve is the desire to go and press. That, I think, says a lot about Erling Haaland. I think it says a lot about Norway's start today. There were some things, to Jan's point, that you kind of go, don't feel all that comfortable if they're making the same sort of mistakes against Senegal and France. But as it pertains to starts in a tournament, I think you have to be encouraged if you're Norway.
Where were those scenes in Oslo that we were seeing there, Jan? Did you see those?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. This was in our national stadium. There was sold out. There were people everywhere. There'll be big screens all around Norway today. I've been getting photos from all over the country. This is a big, big thing for us. This is from Ullevål Stadium when we scored a goal. There's a lot of people going to these. This is in the middle of the night in Norway. It's 2:30 in Norway. It's 2:30 where I am. I'm in Salzburg in Austria. but it's unbelievable the scenes that's going on. And just to put it into perspective, the things with Erling Haaland, because the international public viewing will see him in Manchester City scoring his goals. He's played the 11 last games he scored for Norway now, he's scored. And not only has he scored in 11 games, he scored 22.
Wow.
22 goals in the last 11 games. And I saw some funny stats to just tease the Swedes a bit. He has scored 5 goals less than Zlatan in his whole national career with 71 games less. Just to put it into perspective, what a goal-getter he is.
Never heard of him.
And he's doing, but he's doing it on every stage. He scored in his debut in the Premier League for the national team and in the Champions League. He's doing it all over the place. You did some good points there, because you can see it from the start. In the friendly before the World Cup, he played against Morocco and he touched the ball 4 times. 0-4, 4 times. Wow. But you can see it today from the beginning, chasing back, wanted the ball, wanted to be a part of the play. This is a big deal for him to play for his country, as it should be. But it just shows you that he's top class.
Who else caught your eye today, Jan?
Well, first of all, it caught my eye that Martin was a bit.
This is Odegaard, well. Everyone who isn't best friends with Martin. Come on.
but Martin had a quiet game today. I think Muller-Wolfe, who is a substitute at Wolverhampton, with the first goal, and he saved us. Remember, 2-1 just before halftime. He had a great block, and those are forgotten after the game where Erling get 2-3 goals. But these are precious moments for us. And Nusa, we've seen him at the qualification games being well. Sorloth, a bit average, I would say. But I think it speaks for Norway. When we needed fresh legs on the pitch, we had 4 or 5 players coming on that we never had that. We have a great squad now. You could put on Bob. You can put on Østegård, who did a great goal, has scored 5 goals as a defender in Serie A this season for Genoa. And you can put people like that on. That is a big strength for a small football nation like Norway.
Jan, you talk about dark horses and people have brought up Norway. What's interesting throughout our previews, you've kind of poo-pooed the fact that Norway are going to go all the way in this competition, or at least very deep. Did that back you up today, what you saw?
Good question, because I think that we managed in the qualification to kind of hide our weaknesses. We saw some of them today. I will wait. I will see. We're playing out Senegal in the next game. We saw how much they created. In the last game, we play France. People say, maybe France has won. They probably won 2 games then when we meet them. And then we play a reserve team of France. But I think the reserve team in group stages for France would be better than the first team, because there's a lot of players. And you saw today as well, the people they brought on. So I will wait, Dan. But it is a great start for us, because we haven't been there for 28 years. We score 4 goals. We get Erling going, and the players and the coach. I'm 100% sure at halftime today, although we were 2-1 up, Ståle Solbakken was furious about the way we defended. So there's a lot of things to go there, but winning 4-1, we had a 5-1, we had a 7-1 at this World Cup, but winning 4-1 at what we've seen as against any team, that is something to do first. So that is impressive.
If we can we just take a look at the group and just remind you how things stand? Jan mentioned it, of course. Earlier on today, we saw France beat Senegal. And when this draw was made, you kind of looked at Norway, France and Senegal as the favourites to advance. That is a huge win for Norway, especially when you think what else has been going on. You think of the draws that we've seen in other groups. I mean, at 3 points, in theory, I think could be one of those 8 best third-place finishing teams if indeed they lose against Senegal and France.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a great start. I think we can obviously go into the detail about the performance itself, but a 4-1 win in your opening game, as Jan Age said, after 28 years, is hugely impressive. That has set them up. That's put them top of the group. And Jan's looking at Senegal, their goal difference is minus this, and so on and so forth. But to have a +3 at this stage is massive. I think within the group, the ranking's done by head-to-head, isn't it?
Goal difference, I believe.
In the group itself?
So it's goal difference between the two, which is head-to-head.
OK, because I'm thinking what's interesting is the +3, when it comes down to those third-place teams, if they end up being there, is a very strong position to be in. Obviously, if they lost some, they've got a cushion. But yeah, it was a very, very good day for them overall. Haaland scoring goals, that's what you want to see.
Yes.
You know, as Jan Age said as well, people coming off the bench, having an impact, that's what you want to see. And you sit top of the group. in a group that features France, who are the favourites for the whole thing.
It's a nice position, Ali.
Well, it is a nice
If
position.
they lose against Senegal and France, do you still think they go through?
Depends on what the results are on those games. But I would say that this is the game they had to win.
Yes.
You think about Senegal and France. Iraq was a game that Norway had to win and had to be dominant and had to show that indeed they could control their own destiny within this group. Check, check, check. They've done all of those things. And so they won the game that is in front of them against the weakest opposition in the group. And now you go and play against a team in Senegal that was at times very good today in the first half, but also in the second half was exposed in some of the things and in some of the frailties they can have defensively in moments of transition. If the game gets open, can you exploit some of the things and vulnerabilities that Senegal has out in wide areas? That's why the performance of Antonio Nusa is encouraging for Norway. I also think that while Alexander Sorloth, for most people, seems to be just a guy that is just bouncing off a center back to the other center back, what he can do in playing alongside Erling Haaland is that he gives some freedom to Erling Haaland, but it's not Haaland the only one who's banging himself with the center backs. You have a big body of Sorloth who's going to attract attention just because of his size. Center backs are going to get caught up with him, and now Erling Haaland is left in a situation in which he's battling against one guy, not two center backs. That, I think, is important for Norway. And it's something that if you look forward and project towards Senegal game, you're going, okay, Koulibaly, physically can perhaps match up Erling Haaland. But if he's concerned with Sorloth, then the next guy is not nearly as capable of keeping up with Erling Haaland. So, look, there are a lot of things to be encouraged about this performance in Norway. But most of all is they did what they had to do and what was required from them to do in this first game. You cannot say the same thing about other big teams in this competition so far. And so, in that sense, job well done.
100%. Sorry.
No, go on.
I was going to say, because the interesting thing here as well is the feel as you go back to your hotel, you see your families and so on. And for Norway, this 28 years, this is a lifetime for many, many people. So the feeling's high, they're getting on the team bus, they're happy. Whereas the Senegalese side, they're going into this next game knowing that it's a pressure situation.
Sure.
Essentially to where they have to perform better. They have to find a way to win this game. And Norway, they have the confidence, they have the belief, and they probably know that with a positive result there, they're into the knockouts. That's a great position to be in.
Just to put up with Al was saying that with Alexander Sorloth, I think that's one of the most genius things that Ståle Solbakken has done. Because we talked about this before. Erling Haaland doesn't like to play with a partner. So he likes to play on his own, doing his own stuff. And then Ståle Solbakken has told Sorloth, I'm not saying this conversation just like this, but he said, listen, you are playing up front with Erling, but don't tell him. If Erling asks you, what do you play? Tell him that you're a midfielder, because then Erling will be happy. So no, but honestly, and Alexander Sorloth is doing that brilliantly. He's a great striker. If it wasn't for Erling, he would be one of the best strikers ever we've had. He scored, I think, 27 goals for Norway. He's doing well in La Liga, but he managed to do those things that Ali is saying. He's coming in when you need some wrestling in there. He comes in and help. Then he goes out again, and it's very intelligent the way he's doing it. Just for this third place. Before the group stage started, before the game started at World Cup, we said three points could be good. But so far, we see 3 or 4 results that makes you think that this will be different, because now the third round in 3-4 groups will count anyway.
Yeah.
There was something will happen, like Spain. You remember you think we'll get 9 points and finish, but so you maybe got to 4 points to be 100% sure. But a good thing for Norway now, you have done it. You've done it in the heat. Scored 4 goals in a World Cup. And if you get a draw against Senegal, and we are capable to get a draw against Senegal, we're capable of winning that game. We know that we're through, and that is a fantastic feeling for the Vikings.